let's identify the personality disorder. Let's meet Celestia Moonstone. She's an executive chef at a sophisticated restaurant. But before we go even further, let's dive into her childhood life. Celestia Moonstone loved cooking very much alongside with her father, but they loved creating unique spice combinations even more. Hence, they loved spending time together so much so that they didn't even see the need of hiring a private chef, even though they were wealthy. School, she did great. She aced most subjects. However, she loved the limelight so much that she got jealous of anyone that took that spotlight from her. She didn't end there. She went as far as hating anyone that stood on her path. Her parents were aware of this malicious behavior, but her father said, "She's just a child, and she will definitely change at some point." However, her mother, on the other hand, was worried about her and kept scolding her regarding that behavior. Unfortunately, that turned her mother into being the bad guy. From that day on, she loved her father even more. She viewed him like a hero. She idolized him. Her parents were prominent people. They were public figures. They seemed as if they were living the best life that everybody envied. But behind closed doors, it was a different tale. Celestia's father was a narcissist, and his target was his wife. He abused her emotionally and physically. She tried to hide the abuse from Celestia by hiding the scars and bruises with heavy makeup and wearing long-sleeved clothes. But Celestia knew about the abuse but kept it to herself because she couldn't admit that her father was a monster. One day, when Celestia returned from school, she saw an ambulance taking her mother to the hospital. She and her father also drove to the hospital. Shockingly, after some few hours, she was declared dead due to some poisonous substance that was found in her body that tightened her throat. Hence, she couldn't breathe for a while. At the funeral, both the daughter and the father never shed a tear. That caused people to accuse the father for being behind the wife's death. After high school, she pursued being a chef at a sophisticated restaurant as a junior chef, of course. When she arrived at the restaurant, she met Lyra, and she was instantly intimidated by her because Lyra was good at what she does. She was entrusted to cook for board members or anybody worth impressing. Not only that, she was pretty. Hence, she normally solved complaints against the restaurant, and she was very organized. In a nutshell, she was a peaceable human, very lovable, loved by everybody. Despite all of that, she became friends with Lyra. Celestia would do anything for Lyra. She confided in her, shared her spices that she created, especially when food critics came for food tasting. And Lyra loved keeping those personalized spices in her favorite pink jar. Hence, they had a strong relationship in a space of 6 months. However, one day at work, Lyra was praised for the delicious dishes she prepares at the restaurant. For some reason, Celestia eavesdropped Lyra being commended by the employer. That made her boil so much in her heart. She then rushed to the bathroom very angry. And a few minutes later, Lyra also went into the bathroom and found Celestia looking unhappy. She then asked her worried, "Are you fine, friend?" Celestia then turned and spat on her face and left instantly. Lyra was so stunned and didn't know how to react. Later that evening, she went to Lyra's place carrying sunflowers for Lyra as a token of forgiveness. Lyra refused to forgive her. Celestia then cried instantly and said she was sorry because she was stressed because she had missed her late mother. It was for the first time Lyra hearing this story about Celestia's mother dying. Hence, out of pity, she forgave her and they rebuilt their friendship. Some months later, the employer wanted to hire a new executive chef for the restaurant and gave everyone a fair chance. He made it an internal post. They were given 3 days to prepare their best dishes for the food critics, and the best dish shall win. On the second day, Celestia called Lyra crying and asked if she can come over to her place because she wanted a shoulder to cry on. Well, Lyra agreed that she can come over. When she arrived, she brought some cake with and gave it to Lyra, but she didn't partake because she doesn't have a sweet tooth. They began talking about their lives and the upcoming competition. Minutes later, Lyra ran to the bathroom. It seems like she had suddenly developed a running tummy, so she stayed for hours in the bathroom. Celestia suddenly stood up and looked for Lyra's favorite jar. She then added some colorless substance into her favorite pink jar and blended the contents inside carefully. Shortly afterwards, she went to the pharmacy to get some medication for Lyra to stop the running stomach, as if she cared about her. Finally, the it moment arrived. When the food critics arrived, the employer suggested that Lyra to be the first one to showcase her dish as the trusted chef. She did just so and delivered her delicious dishes. As the food critics were tasting her dish, they were nodding out of satisfaction. After they had voted, one of the food critics developed a skin reaction, some redness and swelling on her face, and then suddenly her throat, it tightened. She was then rushed to the hospital. The employer was definitely angry with Lyra and accused her of poisoning the food critic. He then said Lyra will pay for this. Well, Lyra denied all allegations with tears in her eyes. She went to the bathroom and wept, trying to understand what really happened. When she recalled all the events that had taken place prior, she then remembered that Celestia came over and she once spat on her face and discovered that she was actually behind the malicious act. She went out of the bathroom to confront Celestia for what she has done. And as she was about to confront her, the police came in and arrested Lyra for committing murder, for the injured food critic succumbed to her injuries. As she was being cuffed, she kept on asking Celestia, "But why?" And she just gave her a cold look.